Got a good thing for you. Don't let anyone tell me otherwise, baby. That's right, girl. We'll be fine, whatever we'll be, and you ought to know by now. But your fears will be the same no matter where we're from.
Morning. This used to be my motorcycle crash helmet. I don't wear it anymore, and I haven't worn it for quite a while. And that's not because it makes me look stupid. It's a form of a hat, ergo, it doesn't suit me, as we all know. No, there's another reason for it. Today's Lakewatch might be a bit of a serious one. I'm not sure, you know, but they can't all be mildly and occasionally funny like they normally are, can they? Hiya, I'm at the 9 o'clock position on the lake with the outdoor gym to my left and our house over there. Because of my age, 59, I and people kind of, I guess, 5 years either side of me, our proximity to certainly World War II, and in my case, World War I, is quite close in that we grew up with people who had endured and survived or lost people during them. Our family, either side, the Browns and the Fishers, were professional military families, had been serving mainly in the Lancashire Fusiliers since before both wars. I've got photographs of them in places like Franzipor in Egypt and stuff like that. So, and we lost a few, you know. So, but our experience was different to kids now and to many adults now. I dare say our kid, who's 10 years younger than me, doesn't feel it like I do. It's not a bad thing, it's just time. That's how it works, you know. So my comic books as a kid were not, Marvel, were not based on, you know, fictional characters who had uncommon supernatural powers. They were comics like Victory and I never liked Hotspur, but you know, Victory, Battle, and the best of all were these little books, Commando, which were fantastic, you know, brilliantly illustrated, great stories. And they look a lot like the, you know, the manga books now. They were in that format. I'll try and put a picture in. And they were full of real people. Well, not real people, but stereotypes based on, you know, not having any superpowers, not being able to fly, but being able to fight and do the right thing, you know. The stereotypes are typically, you know, a buffoon of an officer or officer class, you know, usually called Rupert. I believe the modern army still calls their officers Ruperts. And then there was the firm-jawed, gritty sergeant major who really controlled everybody and was in charge and knew everything and was incredibly brave and good. And then there were the squaddies, typically working class lads with regional accents who did a lot of the dying. So why am I talking about them? Well, the 11th is upon us, and as a kid, I was in the Boys Brigade. And from the age of about 13, I was a pretty good bugler. It's easy to be a pretty good bugler. There's only 6 official notes. It's not even an octave. So, you know, there's only 6 notes. So, I bugled at several cenotaphs over the years. And a nightclub, which was fucking weird. But never mind, at midnight at a nightclub, I was taken by Mike Morby, the captain of the Boys Brigade, to a nightclub in Droylsden, of all places, to go and play the last post. I was well received, you know. So, yeah, but the next morning I was out to the cenotaphs. And at those cenotaphs were survivors of both wars. Lads who'd fought, you know, in the trenches on the Somme, and lads who fought, you know, were evacuated from Dunkirk and returned on D-Day. The First World War lads, they all got me, you know. As I played that haunting last post, you would see the 1,000-yard stare return to their faces. That 1,000-yard stare they developed in those trenches, witnessing horror daily. Because that was their defence against what they wanted to do, which, you know, was to fucking cry. But they were from a generation that weren't allowed to cry. They were from a generation that was supposed to be stoical. That wasn't their fault. Occasionally one of them, you'd see their face crumble and collapse. And they'd be kind of embarrassed about it. I spoke to many of them afterwards. I tried to get their stories, but it was too much for them to share. And that's why the 11th is important. And that's why it's fucking obscene that bigots and flag shaggers have tried to take it over. You know the type. The Little Englanders. The gammons. These fucking walking obscenities who've never known a life of anything but comfort. I tried to take over the 11th. And they brought shame to the flag. That's why I don't wear that hat anymore. And it bothers me because, yeah, England ain't been perfect. But, you know, it's where I'm from. Gave me what I needed to be in life. And I gave back. Tried to anyway. Still am. And these fucking bigots are ruining it. Ruining that one day of the year where we remember. We keep the promise to remember. We will remember them. I mean it, and I will, regardless of how they try to usurp that emotion for one of fake fucking patriotism. They make me sick. If you've ever get the chance in the north of England, go to the Pals Regiment cenotaphs. The Pals Regiments were an obscenity where lads were recruited from one town like Accrington, Burnley, an entire generation to form a regiment, and you will see an entire generation dying on the same day on those cenotaphs. Mike Harding wrote a great song about it, and I'm going to put it in at the end of here. Alright, that was a bit serious. If you watched it, I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Smoky town where they were born, down in the valley, smoky little streets. They were pals from childhood days, climbing trees and running through the fields. And they all played together through the turning of the years, sharing their laughter, sharing all their fears. The seasons saw them growing and the seasons passing turned them round through the turning, turning, turning years. The Accrington Pals. School days end, the lads all went to work, some spinning, some weaving in the sheds, on the land or down the pit, working hard to earn their daily bread. And they all went walking up old Pendle Hill. On Sundays the lark sang high above the dale. Little Willie Riley played his mandolin and sang. They were laughing, they were singing then. The Accrington Pals. "1916 came the call, we need more lads to battle with the Hun. Lads of Lancashire, heed the call, with God on our side the battle will soon be won." So they all came marching to the beating of the drums. Down from the fields and factories they'd come, smiling at the girls who came to see them on their way. They were marching, marching, marching away. The Accrington Pals. Blue sky shining on that perfect day, a lark was singing high above the song. Brothers, pals and fathers lay watching that sweet bird sing in the quiet of the dawn. And they all went walking out towards the howling guns, talking and laughing, calmly walking on, believing in the lies that left them dying in the mud. And they're lying, lying, lying still. The Accrington Pals. Smoky town that heard the news, down in the valley, smoky little streets, houses quiet and curtains pulled, all round the town a silent shroud of grief. And the larks were singing still above old Pendle Hill. The wind was in the bracken and the sun was shining still. And the lark was singing sweetly as the evening fell upon the sun. And Edward Parkinson, Bobby Henderson, Billy Clegg, Johnny Malloy, Norman Jones, Albert Berry, Willie Riley. the Accrington pals.